Hey, I'm Phil from AI Adept, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT from the perspective of being a teacher. So if you're completely new to it, I want to just show you two or three really cool examples of just how powerful this application is. So to save you watching me trying to type, I've put my prompts into a document first of all, so I can simply copy and paste them to save time. And it is important to note that the application is only as good as what you ask it. So imagine you're actually asking a person for a particular output. Think of it in that respect rather than just typing a very broad topic. Now, a very powerful prompt that you can use is telling it to act in a certain way, because that will largely determine the quality and style of the outcome. So I'm going to write a very short story, and I'm going to first of all give it the prompt, act as a fantasy author. And you can even put in a specific author, one that of course is well known, but I'm going to type that in first of all, and I'm going to hit enter. This is within a new chat, by the way. So it's going to start already before it's done anything. It's starting to create a story. Now, I don't want to actually create anything yet because I've not told it exactly what I want. So I'm going to just click on to stop generating, but it is going to remember this command here. So I'm going to go back to my document, and I've just written this very quick passage off the top of my head. Write a 500-word story about a wizard called Elerith who has just returned from an adventure where he kills some giant rats in a local inn called the Green Dragon. He will then enter his home for a well-earned rest and some food. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that into ChatGPT. Hit enter, or I can click on this button over here. And within a matter of seconds, it's going to start generating my nice little story. Now, what is important to note, the main difference between this and Google is if you went to Google and you tried to search for a page that has a story about a wizard called Elerith who has just slayed some giant rats from a pub called the Green Dragon, I'm guessing you're not going to find a page on that, because when you're searching in a search engine, you are looking for a piece of content that has already been created. With ChatGPT, what it does is it goes and searches through thousands and thousands, well, if not millions of content that's out there, and from that generates something completely new. So let's see how we're getting on. Elerith, a wizard of great power, has just returned from his latest adventure. He'd been called upon the innkeeper of the Green Dragon to rid the establishment of some giant rats that had taken up residence in the cellar. So can you see already this? I mean, personally speaking, is a lot better than what I could create. Now, you might read through that and think, yeah, that's pretty cool, but maybe I want a slightly kind of darker, more kind of horror type edge to it. So I could go down here and say rewrite in the style of Stephen King. So because it's within the same conversation, it knows then to do that based on the result that I've got up above. So it's having a little think about it. It's probably going and looking for some samples of Stephen King's writings. Let's give it a second chance. There we go. So this time, Elerith, a wizard with a dark past and even darker presence, stumbled through the door of his decrepit cottage. So you can see straight away it's taking a slightly more sinister tone. To start a new chat. And something completely different. I want to write a 7-day meal plan that is made from 65% protein and 45% carbohydrates. Avoid using pork for whatever reason. That will do for now. So I'm going to copy that, hit enter. And again, straight away, it's just restating what it's going to do and reiterating it's going to avoid pork. So here we go, day one, Greek yogurt with some mixed berries and a handful of nuts. Snack for maybe 11sies, apple slices with almond butter. Well, that sounds nice. For lunch, grilled chicken breast. Anyway, you get the general idea. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that and say, well, this one sounds good, but I've got no idea how to cook it. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to say here, write me a recipe and cooking instructions for, and then I'm going to just paste that in. And now what it's doing is it's going and it's looking for a recipe based on that. And hopefully after the ingredients, it will also give me instructions on how to cook it. Mind blowing. Okay, and for my last example, I'm going to show you how useful it is to summarize a book. So there's a book on leadership called Straight Line Leadership, which is a fantastic book, but it's quite a heavy read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, give me a 300-word summary on the main points in the book Straight Line Leadership. And you can, of course, straight away see the potential for this. In another video, I'm going to show you how you can also use this to summarize information from videos in YouTube. So here we go, Straight Line Leadership. Is a book by Dusan. Oh, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. That explores the principle and practices of straight line leadership. And here we go, and it's now starting to break it down into the different sections and show you the main points and lessons from each of those. So again, you can see the power of this straight away. Okay, so now I want to dip into a couple of examples that are more specifically for teachers. So like what I did with my fantasy author earlier on, I'm going to say for this one, act like a geography teacher. So let's say I want to create some lesson plans or maybe schemes relating to the topic geography. So I'm going to type act like a geography teacher here, and no doubt it's going to start off and start talking like a geography teacher and give me lots of interesting facts about climate and volcanoes and all those good things. So again, I don't want to do all of that right now, so I'm going to click on to stop generating. And maybe I've got a lesson on crop rotation. So I want to get some nice ideas on a lesson. So I'm going to say create a lesson for a 1-hour talk on crop rotation relating to a geography lesson. Please include a short exercise they can do at the end to ensure they have understood the topic. Now, again, you'll probably want to expand on this. I'm just doing a very short example for quickness, but if I paste that in, hit enter, you're going to see, or it even gives me a greeting there. So today we'll be discussing the topic of crop rotation in relation to geography. Now, obviously, that bit doesn't really make sense. You wouldn't say that if you're a geography teacher. Crop rotation is the practice of planting different crops in the same field over a period of time to maintain soil health and increase crop yield. To start, let's discuss the benefits of crop rotation. So we're going to go through the main things as an introduction. Next, let's look at examples of crop rotation. Imagine a farmer who plants corn one year, soybeans the next, and then wheat the following year. And then as an example here at the end, as an exercise, please write down the correct order of crops in the chat box. The correct order would be, so it's giving you the answers here. And again, you wouldn't say in the chat box. You would obviously, if you're doing this in a class, then you might say write it in your exercise book, or we might do a kind of a spoken exercise at the end. So again, straight away, you can see how this will give you some great ideas. Now, to expand on that, what we're going to do now is maybe you can been given the task of creating a 5-week plan or scheme. So I've put here, create a 5-week plan for the topics on the following. Make geographical comparisons between China and the UK, offer appropriate observations about locations and physical and human features, include what the outcomes should be for each topic, some activities to carry out, and also useful resources. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that into ChatGPT. And again, this is a very short explanation. So if you're a teacher, you will probably know a lot more better about the specific outcomes that you want. So the better your description is, the better your outcome is going to be. But you can see again straight away, it's giving you some really good, at least good framework that you can use to get the skeleton done, and then you can expand on the various parts later. And you can also ask it to rewrite it to include certain things. So it will always remember the conversation that has gone before it, and then you can ask it to give more detail on certain points. So for example, let me just stop generating that. Let's say, okay, so let's say for this part here, I might want to copy that. And again, I could say, generate a 1-hour lesson plan on, paste that in. And you could do this then essentially for each section. So you do need to bear in mind that it can only produce a certain amount of text in one go. So you may have to go through and then just do what I've done here for each of the sections. But I'm sure you can see how this is blisteringly faster than having to do all of this yourself from scratch. So I hope that was useful to you. I will put a link in the description to a free resource that you can use with some of the prompts that will be very useful from a teaching point of view, and some other free resources that I will give you as well. So do look out for further videos. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bar, and look out for my next video, and I will see you shortly.